Hello, Detroit. Welcome back to the Bob and Ron Show. I'm Bob.
And I'm Ron.
Ron, wasting no time, let's dive right back into the rundown for Section 2 of this Tigers preview show and tell us what we have on tap.
Well, that's great. We have the strengths of this team. We're going to talk about the strengths. Then we're going to move into the weaknesses, what they don't do so well. And then we're going to do a little AL Central competition, see where they might rank up against the other teams in the Central. And then we're going to go to a fan question that has been sent to us today.
All right, Ron, well, getting right into it, what do you think this team has as far as its strengths?
Well, I think I'm going to give you my first strength, and I'm going to give you Austin Jackson. I feel like he's, like you said, he could win Rookie of the Year. He's a five-tool player, like I've said. He can steal. He can get on base. He does the small things in baseball that can get the wins.
No, Ron, I'm not going to lie. That is extremely bold and audacious of you to come right out and say, that a person who has not played one major league game is a strength for this team. He must have really made a lasting impression on you in the spring, and I'll tell you, he really could. As I said, I think he's going to be the American League Rookie of the Year, so he could be, and I think it's a good chance that he is a strength for this team.
Definitely. How about one of your strengths?
Ron, I have to say, I love the first three players in this rotation. Justin Verlander, 19-9 last year, absolutely lights out performance. Getting beat out by Zach Greinke, for the Cy Young, but I think he was definitely in contention. He was a viable option for the Cy Young. He should have, in my mind, got it. But I'll tell you, it's him coupled with a young Rick Porcello, who's definitely going to be continuing to make improvements in his second major league season. And with the acquisition of Max Scherzer, I think that really rounds off the top of this rotation as being extremely strong. Scherzer, he has that power pitching. He can strike batters out. And that's one thing that I really like about him. He kind of reminds me of a young Verlander even, with the things in his arsenal and what he's able to do as far as just overpowering batters to strike them out. I think that's absolutely huge. And I think that the first three people in this rotation are about as good as it gets here in the Major League.
Well, for my second strength, I put the bullpen. I feel that the bullpen is probably the best thing we got going for us right now. Like we already touched on, it was real shaky the past couple of years. This year, it's coming in strong. We got Perry, Valverde, Zumaya, Nee, Koch, Bonine. They're all amazing. We got a variety of lefties and righties. It's going to be lethal for the AL Central or anybody else in the major leagues to go against that bullpen.
Ron, I totally agree with you 100% because I had the bullpen down as one of my strengths as well. I'll tell you, I really am excited about Joel Zumaya. All reports out of Lakeland are that he is back, and he's back to his 06 form. And I'll tell you, if he's striking out batters, and if he's mixing up that curveball with the fastball, doing what he does, in terms of being just completely intimidating on the bullpen, this could be an absolute ridiculous year for him to get back to that form and really to get his career back on track. Because now, after being plagued by the injuries, I'll tell you, if he does not do it, it could be the end of his career.
Bob, real quick, I got the bench, and what's your last one?
I'll tell you the veteran leadership. You guys got Damon and Ordonez. I really like that. I really think that's going to be a strength down the stretch for this club.
Well, that being said, we're going to move on to the weaknesses, some of the things that we're probably not going to do very well this season. And my iffy weakness right now is Bonderman, Willis. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Can they get it done? Will they stay healthy? Is he going to have another anxiety disorder? Can they pitch like they used to?
Well, Ron, I'll tell you, I have that down as my number one weakness for this team right now. Is because you cannot go through the Major League season with only 3 starters. The fact that they only have 3 solid ones, that is a huge question mark for this team. Give me a break. You have a guy, just to trade Robertson away, what they did in that deal is they're saying, we're going to give the bottom part of our rotation to, I'd say, a guy that has barely pitched in the league in the past 2 years, and Jeremy Bonderman.
And a lot of shoulder surgery, too.
Yeah, exactly. Is his velocity going to be back? Even if he does stay healthy, will he be as effective as he once was in his career? And I'll tell you, we all know the struggles that Dontrelle Willis has had. And I'll tell you, if he does get back on track, if he can do it and pitch well again in the majors, it'll be one of the greatest feel-good stories over the past few years in the major leagues. But I'll tell you, Ron, it's a huge question on whether or not he'll be able to do that. It's like trying to sail the Pacific on a log. That's hard to do.
It's impossible.
Exactly.
It might be impossible. And just a side note, Bonderman, he's only pitched 13 innings and has a 6.92 ERA.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you, he did not. Was that spring training?
Yes.
I'll tell you, he did not impress in spring training. And his last couple starts were a little bit better, and he was definitely showing some signs of improvement. But I'll tell you, for this team to totally give their trust in that, that's huge. I'll tell you, they do have Bonine, and they have a Zach Miner, who right now is on the DL, but they also have a guy like Armando Galarraga in Toledo, and I'll tell you, all three of those guys could jump up to fill one of those spots if Bonderman or Willis fails to finish out the season.
Well, Bob, I got coaching. Yes, I'm going on a limb here and saying coaching. Now, a lot of people love Jim
Ron,
Lee,
I'll tell you,
and Ron does.
I can't believe you're doing it. Coaching?
Well, I'm sorry, but this team needs to start getting back to the basics of playing small ball. They're not playing enough small ball. They're relying on Cabrera and Ordonez to hit those bombs. And another thing is, Leland seems to be leaving out his starting pitchers way too long. He needs to get that bullpen in there sooner, especially how strong our bullpen is this year.
Ron, I totally agree with you, actually. And yeah, the bullpen, they really need to get those people, get those guys like Cope, get those guys like Nee, get those guys like Perry, get them involved in the game, Throw them out there when, some response, throw them out there in the sixth inning when, somebody's win is hinged on their performance. Give them a little bit of responsibility, a little bit of accountability. That's what I want to see because I know that these guys can hack it, Ron. But I'll tell you, another weakness for this team is the ability to stay healthy. We've seen it, same old story for the past 3-4 seasons. You got guys like Carlos Guillen who are going on and off the DL. Brandon Inge with his knees, will they hold up? Bonderman. Can Joel Zamaya stay healthy after a slew of injuries?
Question.
You better stay away from the Guitar Hero. You hear that, Joel? Stay away from the Guitar Hero, because if you keep doing that, you're out of here. You're out of Detroit. We don't want you. Stay healthy, son. Stay healthy.
Well, Bob, my last weakness, don't really even need to explain competition. It's just going to be staying in the AL Central. And with that being said, we're going to move on to the AL competition. How do you feel?
Ron, I'm a little bit scared of this division competition we have going this year because I'll tell you, Chicago is here. They are here. Oh, they're here to
You're
stay.
not telling me anything new.
Exactly. I mean, they go out last year at the trade deadline and make that trade for Jake Peavy when he was injured. They didn't make it for last year, Ron. They made it for this year because I'll tell you, they have that division title in their sights and they want it. And I'll tell you, they can do it. They got young guys like Alexi Ramirez, rookie of the year a couple years ago, and very, very good core on that team. You got guys like Mark Beerley, guys like Bobby Jenks closing out the games. They've been there before. They won the World Series title in 2005. Don't forget that. And a lot of those people still know how to do it. Especially when you got a guy like Ozzie Guillen on the bench.
Great manager.
He is.
Sticks up for his guys.
He does, he's a little outspoken sometimes, and some would call him a little bit of an a-hole, but I'll tell you what, Ozzie, when it comes down to it, he knows how to mix up his pitchers well. He'll throw in, I've seen him bring in a guy for one batter, or even one pitch sometimes. The guy loves to play mind games, he's a great manager, and I'll tell you, when you got a guy like him on the bench, nothing's for certain.
And don't forget about Jinx and the closer there. He is, he's tough.
He's great, and I'll tell you, but not only are the Chicago White Sox division, you got to look at teams like Minnesota.
Definitely, I feel Minnesota is going to be real tough. They got, they got your Mauer, Morneaus, but you also have your guys that aren't, as strong, but they get the job done. Denard Span is a guy.
Yeah, Denard Span is huge, and I think he's poised to have a breakout year this year. Even if you don't consider last year to be a breakout year for him. But I'll tell you one big thing about Minnesota is that Joe Nathan he's gone down in spring training. He's out for the year. So if they can't find a viable option, a guy to step in and really close games effectively, they could be in for an off year. But I'll tell you, their rotation is good, Ron. You guys like Baker and Slowey, and guys that are really just coming into their own in their major league careers, and I think that they could really be a tough team. And as we've seen in the Central, you have teams like KC who can even sneak up on you and sweep you or take 2 out of 3 in a series. And if you're in the stretch of your season, that can make or break you, Ron.
Definitely. I like the Kansas City Royals too. They're young. They can make something happen. They got a lot of, they got Greinke, so you never know what happens there. And
Exactly.
I don't know about the Indians. I don't think the Indians are going to have much of a shot this year.
Yeah, throw them out. I don't like them either.
Well, we're going to go on to a little fan question here. We got Noah asking, how does he think Rayburn is? Is he gonna be critical in the Tigers, or what's he gonna do?
Noah way out there in Kalamazoo, how you doing, buddy? I gotta say, great question. Noah, I know you think Rayburn is gonna be critical both offensively and defensively, and I have to say, I totally agree with you. Because I'll tell you, the guy had about 250 at-bats last year, 16 home runs. To get that kind of power off the bench, Ron, is just, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's priceless. I mean, you can't put a value on that. I mean, you
Definitely.
really need viable options off the bench, and I'll tell you, Rayburn is definitely huge.
And that's about it.
Alrighty, well, as we said, we are really looking forward to this Tigers year, and, keep an eye out for Austin Jackson. As I said, he will be Rookie of the Year. Ron, I know you're really looking forward to him.
That was your Tiger season preview. for this year.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week.